Hello and welcome to Scale Your Sales podcast. My next guest is an internationally sought after sales and technology speaker and social media presenter. His talk on the new world of sales has been presented globally. He specializes in LinkedIn, advanced Google search and video marketing. He works in tandem to produce great results for organizations, helping them to prospect and sell more. So welcome to Scale Your Sales podcast, Frank Furness.
Hey, it's great to be here, Janice, and lovely to be on your show.
Well, it's great to have you. I know I've interviewed you before, but you give so much great value and you've talked all over the world and got lots of stories. So let's get straight into it. And we can't kind of move forward without talking about the situation we're all in at the moment. So I'd really like to ask you about how salespeople and business leaders can, what more do they need to do, or what do they need to do that's different in this pandemic world so that they come out of it stronger and better? What's your tips?
Well, about 2 weeks ago, I was contacted by a client in New York who said to me, listen, all of my salespeople are going to start working from home. Can you put together a course? So I put together a course, sellingfromyourhome.com. And it's based around 4 things. Home. So H is for habits. You've got to form the right kind of habits. So I try and get up early, post every day. The O is optimizing. You've got now time to optimize all of your social media, your LinkedIn especially, to attract people. The M is using the mobility we've got, using things like Zoom that we're using right now, and boon.tv and a lot of other great resources out there. And E is establishing your credibility. So that's by putting out posts all the time, staying in touch with people. I regularly do social media posts and I email. And a great little story here, I've got a client in Hong Kong and I emailed her last month just to touch base at the beginning of this month again. And yesterday I got an email saying one of the biggest insurance companies want to run a conference on how to work from home virtually. Can you do it for us? So stay in touch with all of your clients, make use of the technology.
I've seen on LinkedIn actually sales leaders that are sticking with their quota, suspicious of their sales managers working from home or perhaps not working. And really kind of all they're doing is that they're doing what they did before, but they're actually moving it, more of it online. And it doesn't really seem that that is really the right strategy, whereas you're talking about perhaps moving off from the hard sell and moving more onto building relationships. Would you say that's right?
Yeah, absolutely, because I formed a LinkedIn group and there's 20 of us. We post every day. We're up, I get between 2,000 and 5,000 views. And people now are coming back and saying, listen, you seem to be an expert in this area. Let's start talking. That leads to conversations, and that's when you can start the sales process. If I get something from someone just saying, use me for search engine optimization, I'm like, wow, I don't know you. I've never heard of you. Why should I actually just use you? Form a relationship, prove your expertise, and maybe I'll do business with you.
Absolutely, that goes on quite a lot. I think there's a huge job to be done. People, have you noticed how many lead generation people there are? And they're really bad at lead generation because they do the, hard sell without no relationship, no background at all. I don't know who taught them, but they're doing a very bad job.
And what about all the experts on Zoom all of a sudden that are coming out? And you see them doing presentations, kids are running into the room, they're not dressed properly, and you're thinking, how can you teach this stuff when you don't really know anything about it yourself, but you think, oh, I'm going to make some money just because there's a crisis going on?
Yeah. So I think the key is really just demonstrate your expertise and constantly add value.
Well, that's the big thing. And for me, what I try to do now, I try and do 3 things. The first thing is I'm prospecting. And there I'm using things like advanced Google and Boolean search strategies. So you've got to know who your ideal target market is. So I work mainly in 2 fields, the insurance field. So I look for financial advisors, owners, sales directors of insurance companies. I work in health and fitness. I'm looking for owners of health and fitness clubs. I use some of the great searches that we can use with Boolean. I then also go and use a great little tool called acronym.net, which gives you LinkedIn's advanced search without paying for it. And then I start connecting with those people, but I have everything is personalized. If they look at my profile, I take them to a video squeeze page where I form a relationship with them. So everything now goes onto a personalized level. The second thing I start doing is I start putting out some great content. So I found the right kind of people, put out great content. And the third thing is I'll then say to them, well, let's set up a Zoom call, let's chat. And that's when the relationship actually starts moving.
You've mentioned so much in that. I'm going to delve into that a little bit more. You mentioned there's an advanced search without actually having to pay for it. Will you send us the link so that we can put that in for listeners? That would be brilliant if you could do that.
Absolutely. I use it all the time. It's great.
Brilliant. And then you talked about Google Advanced Search and Boolean. Can you give us more information about that?
Well, this is you know, it would take us a couple of hours to do our own courses on it, but basically you've got to find out who your ideal target market is. And so I work with a company in London that do all the animation for any big movie that you would see, you know, Harry Potter or any of these, the animation is done by them. So they would start by saying, okay, who do we want to get into contact with? So it's going to be video producers, and they'll come up with a lot of terms. We'll then go in, and Boolean searches means you have to know how the pluses, the minus, the brackets, the search terms used. So we might go in there and put in inverted commas and in brackets, video producers plus VR, whatever the term is, close the brackets, and then plus, maybe they want them in London, so you'd put in London, and you'd put in a few other terms, and then you'd put in file type, normally Excel. So anyone who's got an Excel spreadsheet with all of those terms will be pulled up. I tried this with a tree company when I was working in Australia, and we spent about 3 hours on this, and it resulted in them getting a $2 million contract.
Wow. Wow. And that's just been highly targeted and using the search terms and understanding Boolean research.
Yeah, you've got to understand how Boolean searches work.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. So then Google Advanced Search, is that the same thing?
No, it's a little bit different. It's a similar kind of thing, but you can just go in and do a normal search on Google, click onto the tabs over there, and it says Advanced Search. So it's not as sophisticated, but it's an easy way of doing it.
Right, right. It's in my experience working with sales teams, and I'm sure this resonates with you as well, that they assume too much and they don't do nearly enough research. They might know their product, but they don't actually research into who's they're going to see, their buyers, the customers, the clients, and really understand the personality. You hear a lot about what keeps them awake at night, but actually it's a lot more than that. This seems that you can do the kind of really fine detailed research that you need to know about the customer, the client, the buyer before you get in front of them. What's your
I'm putting a whole new course together for salespeople, and this is one huge section, and it's called the pre-sale. And I mean, there you've got to go in, you've got to look at the company website, you've got to get a feel for the company, the person that you're going to go and see, take a look at their LinkedIn profile, get a feel for them, start reading their posts, do a search on that person and the company, see what comes up. You know, I like to look at the news, the last 7 days, what has been said about that company. And where I pick up a lot is in Facebook. I go into their Facebook profile. So recently I went to go and see an IT director, and in Facebook I saw that he loved go-karting. So when I met him, I just said, I've been doing a little bit of homework as you'd expect me to do. And guess what I found out about you? He said, what did you find out? I said, well, you're into go-karting. And for the next 30 minutes, that's his passion. I love go-karting. After 30 minutes, he was my best friend and he became a client. So you've got to do your homework before you go and see. We've got all of these great tools out there now. Why not use them?
And especially we've got more time on our hands, more time to actually really learn the skill and, you know, make sure that we know all of the different shortcuts in order to do that absolutely essential research, because it doesn't need to take a long time, does it?
No, I mean, just do simple things like Google Alerts, put in some of the key terms to a Google Alert and see what comes up there, because that could lead to a potential lead. And now's the time to actually contact your clients and your prospects, because what's the biggest objection we always get, Janice, when we want to get hold of somebody? I'm too busy.
Yeah.
They can't be busy now. They are sitting at home. You've got their undivided attention. You've got great tools like Zoom where you can actually sit, you can have a great conversation with them. So now is the best time ever to be selling.
Absolutely. And especially if you're adding value. I mean, what are most people worried about? You know, the future, you know, kind of like job security, you know, what's happening in their industry. If you can actually find information that they may not already have access to, then this is a good way in to actually feed them with that type of information and reassure them of the future. If you've got that real information, then why wouldn't someone want to talk to you?
Well, that's what I'm doing at the moment. I'm running a series of free webinars. So my first one is this Friday on working from home. I'm covering everything on how to work from home. My next one is going to be on how to use video marketing to sell. The next one's going to be on LinkedIn. So these are all free and I add huge, huge value. What I'm doing is developing my credibility and expertise. And I know a lot of those people are going to come back afterwards and say, listen, we've only had an hour with you. Can you come in and work with our team? Or can I buy one of your courses? But the first thing is share all of your free resources and expertise. Don't try and sell it. Once you share, people will see you as the expert and the business will follow.
I mean, that's a great strategy because salespeople do have a great deal of knowledge, perhaps in a, you know, a vertical or, you know, particular area. Actually, by sharing that knowledge, it's a great strategy to attract people to you that want more.
Yeah, and there's so many resources you can use now. I'm using Kajabi, which is like really difficult to use. But there's a great free resource I came across yesterday called, I think it's either Boom or Boon.tv, which is free. So you can actually make videos, upload it on there, send it out to your clients. You can even sell the videos up there. So there's some really great resources you can be using, or even the best free resource like YouTube. Make a video, put it onto YouTube, and guess what? You're going to have people that you don't even know watching you saying, well, this person's an expert, maybe I should contact them.
Yeah, yeah, and streaming as well, doing it live. Once you've built up your confidence, you can then download that video and then have it permanently on your site as well. You know, I want to talk a bit more about LinkedIn, because this seems to be your area, your platform, and I want to understand why for you you're really promoting LinkedIn, because there are other platforms out there. You've mentioned Facebook. You can get real kind of personal insights. So why is LinkedIn so special to you?
So when I started out in sales many years ago, I had to come in every morning and cold call for 2 hours. I'm a pretty good cold caller. I had to make 4 appointments every day. LinkedIn is the new cold calling. Nobody ever answers a cold call now. So the first thing is you can find your targeted person that you want to speak to. You can connect with them. You can give them great information that's relevant to them. And that's where the relationship starts to happen. The second thing is we've got up to 30,000 people that we can connect with out there. And you've also got to think about push-pull marketing. The first thing is what I call attraction marketing. Your LinkedIn profile has to be fantastic. I mean, I've put a whole course together on LinkedIn. You'll see it in the links there. But if you go and look at my profile, connect with me, Frank Furness, just take a look at what I've done. I've set it up for search engine optimization. I speak to people as if I'm sitting in front of them. If you go and take a look at my profile, then what will happen, you'll get a video that you can watch where I connect with you. And this is not all my stuff. All I do is I buy courses, I go to the experts, I learn from them, and I share that knowledge. The second thing that we're doing, I started this about a month ago and it's working brilliantly. Before I didn't have any LinkedIn strategy. Every now and then I'd go and I'd put a post up there, I give maybe 30 or 40 views. So now what I've done is I've actually formed a group. We've got 20 people. We have to commit every morning to put a post up before 8 o'clock. I post at 6 o'clock every morning. That's where we come into the habits over there. And we each have to go into everyone else's posts, comment on it, like it. And what this does for the engines within LinkedIn, it says, well, there's some interaction going on here. And by the end of the day, you're ending up, well, one of my friends ended up with 80,000 views on one of his posts and picked up 2 pieces of business because of it. He does cyber security. So it's getting into those habits, but also knowing the finer things. If you're going to do a post, your first headline has got to capture their attention. Make a startling statement or ask a question. It's got to be in all capitals. Don't use more than 3 hashtags. Never put in any external links into that post. So there's a whole lot of rules that go into it. And once you've learned these rules, I mean, you just skyrocket on LinkedIn.
Interesting. Wow. So much insights there. I'm going to put the link to your LinkedIn Marketing for Business course and all the others. Unfortunately, we've run out of time, but thank you so much for sharing so much of your knowledge. The last question I'd like to ask you is, who is your hero and shiro, and tell us why?
I've got actually 2 heroes. One is a guy called Zig Ziglar. This is my business hero. I actually met him twice, and I've done an interview with him. If you go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/sales tips, just type in Zig Ziglar. He was just the most wonderful person, and the person I reckon was the greatest salesperson ever. My second one is I'm a musician, I'm a drummer, I play guitar, a bit of drums, a whole lot of other stuff. And my favorite entertainer ever was a guy called Sammy Davis Jr. And my biggest regret was I missed him by 1 week in Las Vegas. I've watched every video of his. I mean, the guy was just unbelievable. He was a comedian, he was a tap dancer, he was a drummer. He was just an all-round entertainer, and he was brilliant at everything. I mean, when you watch him tap dancing and you watch him get onto the set of drums, you watch him with Frank Sinatra and the other, there was 3 of them there, Dean Martin. He was just my hero. I would love to spend a week with Sammy Davis if that could ever happen.
Well, your wish is my command, so you never know. With virtual reality and all of that. Well, thank you so much for being a guest on Scale Your Sales podcast. I'm going to put in all of the links and how the audience can get hold of you. Really appreciate it, Frank. So thank you, Frank Furness.
Wonderful. Great being on your show, Janice. Thank you.